Welcome to the user guide for the Studentplus Hub, a student-centric Notion template made in partnership with Plus. My name is Jonah. I am a sophomore at the University of Washington, and in partnership with Plus, I developed this template for students to stay organized and increase their academic aptitude. I'm going to be walking through the usage of all of the main pages in the setup, and then the second part of this tutorial and overview will be an explanation of how to use all of these pages in tandem in a typical school day. So first I'll go over how to use Plus. Plus is an application that allows you to take a live snapshot of any website or application to turn data into insights that stay updated as new information comes in. Plus is currently a limited access program, and you can request early access in the link that is included in the how to use this template instructions, which will contain all of the instructions and tips that I have mentioned in this video. An important concept that I'd like to cover is how to use the Plus browser extension. So in this case, I'll be using the Plus browser extension to take a capture of my Google Calendar and embed it onto the Studentplus Hub homepage. I'll go ahead, once I've gotten access to Plus, click the extension, click Take Snapshot, and then use this plus cursor to select the area that I'd like to capture. Once I've taken the screenshot, I can title it, set the refresh rate, I'm going to set it to 15 minutes, and then copy the link and close the window. Now I'll go back to Notion, find where I want to embed this plus window, paste the link, click Create Embed, and resize the window to how I prefer. I'll start with a brief overview of how to navigate academic life with the Studentplus Hub. This main page, called the Studentplus Hub with this icon, is the home page of this academic management system built in Notion. It's meant to primarily be used on a desktop computer. As you scroll down, it is intended to give you an overview of assignments that are marked as due within a week from the due date. This will automatically populate with any assignments that you mark due within a certain date range. At the top of the page and throughout most of these main pages throughout this template is a navigation bar with all of the links to other main pages. If you decide that there are some extra things that you want to add to this navigation bar, any change that you make to one part of the navigation bar will reflect in all other instances of this navigation bar, which you will see other places as we go along through this video tutorial. I'll scroll down here to show a brief overview of what else is included here on the Studentplus Hub homepage. This is a prime example of how you would use Plus as part of this template. I've taken a screenshot of my Google Calendar, so when I start my student work for the day, instead of having to go back and forth between my calendar and leaving lots of attention residue and opportunity for distraction, I can see an updated version of my calendar. In this case, it'll update on the hour. Next to here, we'll show the classes that you are currently taking and have created pages for. I will show how to do this later on. And then finally, a section for tools, a quick capture page, which I will go over later, makes this compatible with your mobile device, which you've installed Notion on. Course planning is another tool that I've particularly found useful in my own student life. And then the group project survival guide, which is an additional resource that I have included based on my experience working in group projects. So first I'll go ahead and get started on showing how to set up a class page in classes. This system can support up to basically as many classes as you'd like, but for the sake of keeping the system concise and organized, I would recommend using anywhere between 3 and 5 or 3 to 6, depending on whether you are using the semester or quarter system. To add a new class, I'll first make sure that the template here is set to this new class that I've pre-populated, and you can go ahead and click New for this new class. It'll take a second to load in all of the templatized stuff that I've included in it, which I'll go over. First, I'll go ahead and title this class. I'll title this English. To make sure you get the most out of this system, a common theme that you'll notice is to fill in all of the properties for any kind of page. So this would be a general requirement. That's the kind of class it is. It's a major class or an elective class. This one will be a general class. The assignments you can ignore for now. The time frame, so I'll start with semester 1, 2022-23 school year, semester 1, and then the course code would be English 101. This is just a generic course code that's not actually reflective of anything. And then once you're done with this class, you can mark it as completed. And now that you've done that there, you can go ahead and set up the rest of your class page. And the good news is that you'll only have to do this once, this kind of setup once per class page. Before you add any assignments to this course page, you need to make sure that you set up a filter for 2 specific databases inside of a class page. It'll be for the assignments and the notes. You can add a filter by clicking on the filter label that appears at the top of this database here and clicking a filter by class. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. So filter, add the filter, and then you'll filter it by class. And then you'll click English composition to filter only the assignments that are related to English composition. And you'll notice that so far there are none. That is why there are none here. And then you'll do the same for notes. So you'll add a filter by class, English composition, and then you'll hit save to make sure that only notes regarding English composition class will show up in the English composition class page. In other instances of using Plus, if you use Canvas, you can embed the course calendar or the course stream using Plus, and it will update live. And same with your grade. If you set the refresh rate to 15 minutes or 1 hour or 6 hours or 1 day or 1 week, it'll update according to whatever cadence you set. And I've also included a space to upload the syllabus, which will contain any important information and will be very important for you to be able to reference quickly to be able to succeed in any kind of collegiate level class. And then finally, at the bottom, I've included another instance of this navigation bar, so you can quickly go back to the StudentÄ hub if you'd like, the main homepage, and then quick links to your assignments, notes, classes, and other resources. The next function I'd like to go over is the notes function. Adding notes is fairly easy, although I've left this mostly blank on purpose. I've left resources and suggestions on how to take notes, but because of the varying types of note-taking preferences and compatibilities, note page templates I've left relatively unstructured to make sure that if anyone using this can fill them in how they'd like. When creating a new note, make sure to label which class the note is for to make sure that it ends up in the right place. So I'll add a new note. I've added a series of different templates. So for STEM classes, I've had a separate template. For humanities classes, I've had a separate template. And then for anyone who just wants a blank page, I can add that as well. So we can start with a blank page and make sure that this class is labeled English composition. Let's take that off of calculus. Round that to whole structures lecture 1. And I'm obviously making this up as I go, but here is where you'd type your notes. And you can check what time you created them to see how long it's been since you've last reviewed the notes, which will be important to make sure that you are reviewing not only your notes from your most recent lectures, but also from lectures whose content you are not as sharp on. So that is how you can add notes, and I'll briefly go over new STEM notes, even though it's not relevant to this English composition class. I've included instructions on how to leverage this STEM class notes template as best as can in the directions. I've included space for handwritten notes, annotated slides, code snippets if you are in a computer science class, and typed notes using Notion's toggle features. So you can add a conceptual question here and then answer them and then hide and show the answers for optimal review strategies. The humanities notes is also rather similar. It just doesn't have the space to embed code snippets, and I've also included instructions on how to best utilize this template here. You'll notice that because I didn't add the specific class property for either of those 2 notes that I just created, they don't show up in this English composition. I will show that if I add another new empty note and actually add this English composition property back, there's a new empty note. So this is what we just created. As it pertains to assignments, I've also created a new assignment template. So clicking on new assignment in this case will automatically populate the class. And then for the type of assignment, this is mostly just for reference, from reading to discussion posts, quiz projects, essays, so on and so forth. I'll label this for the sake of this example a problem set, or I guess it's an English class, so it'd be more likely an essay. So reading, reflection, I guess it's the discussion post now, post 1. And I can make this, label this as a discussion post, and then this is a space where you can embed a submission link, so you could link to Canvas or whatever other learning platform you use. You can use a plus embed if this is a discussion post to catch up on what your other classmates are saying. And then I've just included another space for important notes and things that are maybe your professor has said in class about this specific assignment. So this is a basic overview of the class page. The next few pieces of the tutorial will be an overview of the course planning guide. This is a linked database, so this is a similar database. It'll list all of the classes. So for example, the English composition class that we created for this example is now here. I've personally used a similar setup to where I will list all the classes that I'm taking, all the classes that I'm taking next semester or quarter, and have a place to kind of move them around and see which courses I need to take when, for example, to make sure that I graduate on time. The final part of this template that I can show here on my desktop computer is the Group Project Survival Guide, which is a guide to succeeding in group project settings based on my personal experience. All of the extensive details are hidden under these toggles and resources that I've compiled over the 2 years that I've been in college and working on group projects so far. Whether you use it or not is totally up to you. Using this or not using this does not impact how effective this Student+ Hub system is. Finally, I'll go to the quick capture. This quick capture is just another view of the assignments database that has less detail. It's called a quick capture just because if a professor mentions an assignment in class, or you remember an additional detail that you need to incorporate, but you don't have the time to fully add in all of the details about what class it's for and what kind of assignment it is, this is the place to do that. It's a quick assignment. It won't necessarily show up in the main homepage where it breaks down your assignments by due date and type and all these other things. You can always go back to the quick capture, and at any point in time you can add, okay, well, I remember now that this quick assignment it's a problem set. Let's see if I can spell assignment correctly. And then it's actually for business statistics class, and then I can add in all of these details later when I have a little bit more time, and now I can go back to the Student Hub and see that, okay, this quick assignment is now a problem set for my business statistics class. You'll also see in the how to use this template that the quick capture is meant to be used on a phone. So you can add, if you're using iOS, you can use the Notion widget if you're on the latest version of iOS, or if you're using an Android device, respectively, you can still bookmark this quick capture page so that you can have a simple page that's accessible from your phone that you can add to this system without having to get out your laptop and open up and fill in all the details immediately. I will now be going over how to use this template most optimally. At the beginning of the semester, I suggest setting up all of your classes, as these are the pages that will underlie most of your system. And then for each individual page, make sure to set up the 2 filters for the assignments and the notes. You can use Plus to take intelligent screenshots of important information like course calendars, gradebooks, and embed them into your class pages. So making sure that you're getting things like your grades and your course calendars and your announcements here in your class page, since you'll be relying on this pretty often. Going through your syllabus and for each of these classes, adding all of the kinds of assignments and due dates and discussion posts and details about the assignments. And then on any given day at the beginning of your workday, navigating to this Student+ Hub, seeing what's due within the next week, and then going through and seeing, okay, here are the details that I filled in earlier. Here are the things that maybe my professor has noted for solving derivatives for this practice test. Good to know. And then, for example, you'll attend a calculus lecture, so you'd open up your calculus class page. You'd be able to add a new notes section for Calculus 2. And then you can embed PDFs for handwritten notes and annotated slides. And if you had any things that you needed to add to an assignment, or you needed to add a homework assignment, you can use the quick capture page to quickly add new assignments. Once all of this is set up, you'll have a Student Hub system. Keeps you up to date with the assignments for the week ahead, keeps you updated with your own schedule, keeps you updated with classes that you have to take, and includes some additional tools that will keep you organized, updated, and doing your best student work. All of this information is included in the how to use this template page, which is included at the bottom of this main page, where you can find a table of contents on how to use all of these, including a demo on how to use Plus. Thanks for taking a quick look. I hope that this template leads you to some academic success.